So here is the situation. A woman had someone she loved and trusted deeply, and for several years she often had a quiet feeling that something wasn't quite right, as it seems. And she sometimes also sensed that she wasn't being told the whole truth, but each time that feeling appeared for her, she convinced herself that she was overthinking. And she just made a choice to trust the other person she loved more than she trusted herself. But years later, the truth finally came out, and the person she loved had, in fact, been hiding an important part of their life from this woman all along. She was angry, she was heartbroken, and she just couldn't understand why the anger stayed with her for so long. So, from the situation you shared, and after I spent some time with it, I can understand a few things. Like perhaps, yes, your deepest hurt came from discovering that someone you loved had been lying to you, and perhaps some of it did. But I think more than that, there is another truth that has revealed itself for you. Like you already felt that there has been something that doesn't add up. You had that feeling that something wasn't quite right. But every time you had that feeling, you told yourself that you were overthinking and you chose to trust the other person you loved more than you trusted yourself. Basically, you told yourself that you were imagining things. And perhaps you also told yourself that if the person is someone you deeply love, then perhaps if they are telling that everything is fine, then maybe your own inner voice, your own instincts are mistaken somewhere. So, slowly, bit by bit, you just stop trusting what you sensed. And it was not because you didn't have the inner voice, it was perhaps because trusting the person you loved felt much easier than questioning them. But when the truth finally came to light, perhaps the deepest grief you had wasn't only that they had hidden something from you. Perhaps it was the realization that the quiet part of you that had been trying to get your attention for a long time over these years, and you just spent those years asking it to be silent. Perhaps that's the greater part of the grief you have. Sometimes we think betrayal only changes the relationship we have with another person, but perhaps it also changes the relationship we have with ourselves. Because every time we convince ourselves that what we are feeling isn't real, every time we choose someone else's certainty over our own uncertainty, we may slowly just begin to create self doubt. And it's not just about that one feeling, that one person. In a broader perspective, it's creating self doubt on our own way of knowing ourselves. And maybe that's why the pain can linger longer after the truth is known. And it's not only because we are trying to understand what the other person did, but perhaps because we are trying to understand what happened to us while we were busy trying to understand them. And perhaps that's also is the reason why some relationships no longer call us back. And it's not just because you cannot forgive or you are angry or something, but perhaps because they remind us of a version of ourselves who just abandoned their own inner voice. And maybe healing in the end isn't only about making peace with the choices the other person made or forgiving them or whatever. Sometimes it's about becoming someone who no longer asks themselves to stay quiet just because they want to trust someone else. And as I say all this, I still want to add that I'm only seeing this moment that you shared with me, and there can be many more possibilities apart from what I said, because the context also matters. So, whatever I shared here is only based on this one situation you shared with me and whatever it made me feel or notice. And it is not only the explanation, it is just one possible way of understanding the experience beneath it. And that's all I would like to say here. So, if there is an ordinary moment in your life that stayed with you or left you wondering why this why did this affect me so much, you are also welcome to share it with speak up space. You can send it as a voice note or a written message with whatever context you feel comfortable sharing. And if I choose it for a future episode, it will always remain anonymous. And you can find my email to share your notes in the description of this audio. Thank you.